So the word wild mainly means like two things for us. So the first thing is like beautiful nature, and the second thing is like really scary challenges and adventures.
We've moved the Deep Dark into this update. Can you talk to us more about why?
Yes, I mean, one of the biggest things about the Deep Dark and the Warden and the Sculk is that it's just expanded, it's gotten bigger, and we really wanted to make sure that we did this right and that we didn't just rush it. That includes even unique loot inside the Deep Dark as well. Let's actually look at some of the new things that we have in it right now, which is the ancient cities.
That's awesome. I can't wait. Oh, wow.
We really didn't want the Deep Dark biome to just be, caves or just skulks spread around. We wanted it to add a bit more mystery to it. And there's this ancient city, and what is it doing there? We're not going to tell the players. We're just going to let them go throughout and explore and see what they come to. And there's even this ancient structure in the middle of every single city, and it's got something interesting about it that you're going to have to explore in game. Yeah, last year we focused a lot on the Sculk sensor, but since then we've kind of been trying to figure out what do all the different blocks in this Sculk family do. And one of them actually is something called a Sculk catalyst. And the main thing about the Sculk catalyst is it's actually what causes the Sculk to spread. As you can see here, whenever a mob dies, such as a zombie, near the Sculk catalyst, it actually spreads Sculk underneath it. And the amount is based on how much XP that zombie would have dropped.
Wow.
So, the Deep Dark, it's kind of overgrown with all these Sculk blocks, so that means that lots of mobs must have died there.
Quite a lot, yes.
Make it less scary. Oh, and as you can see here, when you mine some of the Sculk blocks, you actually get enchanting points.
Yes, and of course, if you still want to get some of the blocks for decoration or something, you can just use a Silk Touch.
And then we have the Sculk Shrieker. So when this block is activated, it's gonna give that really scary shriek sound that you heard now. And it also gives this darkness effect, so it's like pulsating darkness.
You can even see now when you're sneaking and you step on a Sculk sensor, even sneaking it will activate. I think the Sculk Catalyst is going to be really interesting because, when you could create a mob farm with it, through the tech community. Usually when a mob dies, it doesn't drop XP unless you, the player, actually kills it. So with this, you might be able to create some sort of XP farm.
Ooh.
There's lots of opportunities. The first thing is that the Warden actually emerges underground. So that means you know that Wardens are kind of in the deep dark, in the walls, under the floor. And it also has developed a sense of smell. So of course you can sneak around and try to be, quiet and not to get detected. But unfortunately, the Warden's still going to be able to sniff you out and find where you are. And if it sniffs you while you're really close by, then it's going to start noticing you.
Wait, so basically the Warden is like, smell that? It's happening. And just like going for the
Pretty
players?
much, yes. It's not going to be fun for you.
No, and I love that we're adding that sneaking gameplay, because we haven't really had that before. So, you are in the deep dark, everything's super dark, and you're sneaking, trying to find the treasures, trying to avoid the Warden. I think it's something really exciting with that.
It's really, really cool. I mean, I think you have definitely upped the terrifying level, Brandon. And I just love how much you've expanded the deep dark to feel it's so immersive.
So we want to celebrate the wilderness of Minecraft, and one thing we want to focus on is immersion. So when you play Minecraft, we really want you to feel that you're inside the Minecraft world. Actually, like we are now. It's so beautiful. And we also want to focus, or have focused, on biome diversity. So we want to find a unique identity for different biomes. For example, the birch forest, as you can see in this beautiful concept art. So in the birch forest, we want it to be light and peaceful, and the sun reaches the ground, the trees are taller, and the flowers, things like that.
It's really beautiful. It looks very Swedish in the birch forest.
That's true. That's actually a very Swedish forest. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And then you want to add more atmosphere to the different biomes, but there's one biome that you want. I mean, I would say you're giving it quite an overhaul. It's getting a lot more in the wild update.
Yes, that's true. And that's the swamp. Oh, our art team is just so amazing. It's such a beautiful concept art. And as you can see here, the atmosphere is really different from the birch forest as well.
It really is. It's amazing.
Yes, there are a lot of awesome things coming. The first of which is the boat with the chest in it. We are adding the mangrove tree to Minecraft. So as you can see here, this is a propagule, and propagules grow from mangrove trees. They're actually ready to grow mini mangroves growing from the mangrove. And you can see here, the mangrove tree grows propped up on root blocks. It has vines hanging down from the leaves. The propagules are actually growing underneath the leaves. They actually grow from the leaves themselves.
That's awesome. And this is the first sapling that you can plant underwater.
Yeah, you can plant it underwater and on land as well.
Where there's a new tree, there must be a new wood type.
Yes, the mangroves do come with a new wood type. And always when we add a new tree, we are so happy. We get so many questions from the community will there be a new wood type? and therefore we're so happy that we were able to add a new wood type for the mangroves. And look at it, I think it's really pretty. And you also don't see all the blocks here. It's gonna be a full set for the wood types. It's gonna be doors and trapdoors and so on. We decided to go with really big roots, and I think those are so cool. And we actually prototyped quite a lot back and forth, and it was a bit tricky to decide how the roots should look like, as you see in this picture here. But now I'm so happy that we went with the multi-block roots, because for example, when you go with a boat, and then you can go under the mangroves, and I think that adds such a nice feeling to it. Yeah, in this picture, it's really nice atmosphere.
Why don't I just make a mangrove swamp biome where I'm completely surrounded by them? So as you can see in this video, walking around, you're just completely surrounded in the mangrove swamp. It's just mangroves as far as the eye can see, just like in real life. And you have all the mangroves propped up on their roots, growing in the water, so you can take your boat underneath like Agnes likes. And you're just completely surrounded by the awesome beauty of it.
I noticed that was not dirt.
Good eye, Lydia. That was wet dirt, otherwise known as mud.
That's amazing. So you've actually added mud to do something really cool.
Yeah, so we're adding really cool renewability mechanics to mud. The first of which is if you take a dirt block and pour a water bottle on it, then you can get more mud. And then the other one is if you take your mud block and you stick it on top of the dripstone, it will sort of like drip the water out of the mud and eventually dry it out, which turns into clay. Yes, we're also adding mud bricks. So mud bricks are a really, really exciting like building block. And as you can see here, the brick texture is actually different than the other stone bricks that we have in the game. So they're sort of smaller, more compact, but it is really cool like to build with. It matches a lot of different block sets, and I'm really excited to build with them.
Because we're adding frogs.
Once again, you deliver on the promise of cute and derpy with the tadpoles.
We do.
Yes, and you can pick them up in a bucket.
Yes, and that's actually extra helpful for the tadpoles because we have frog variants, and when a tadpole grows up, it will pick a variant depending on the temperature in the biome it grows up in. So for example, if it grows up in a really cold place, it's going to turn into a snowy frog. Yeah, as you can see here. So the frogs have kind of like two main systems. One is the tadpole system, and the other one is the cold-blooded system. So the frogs are like the first cold-blooded animal in Minecraft. And in real life, there actually are frog variants that pick a color depending on, or they adapt their color depending on temperature. And we wanted to have that in Minecraft. We wanted to Minecraftify it. So therefore, the tadpole's going to pick a variant instead, depending on the temperature.
That's so cool. And there are 3 variants.
Yes, it's going to be 3 variants.
Okay, so we've seen 2. What's the third one?
The third one is the tropical frog. Yes. So let's say you were venturing out into the desert or the jungle, and you take your tadpole with you, and if it grows up there, it'll turn into a lovely tropical frog. And what I really love about the tropical frogs is how just relaxed they look, and they're like blending into the sand almost. They're just so relaxed, just chilling there.
And you're adding another little tiny creature to this update.
Yes, the Fireflies. So you can see them roaming around, adding a lot of ambience to the swamp, making it feel just nice and cozy at night. But really, my favorite part of them is just making the world come to life, like feeling like there is life going on all around you. And oh yeah, also their frog food. Yeah, forgot to mention that. They're frog food.
Poor fireflies.
This is quite an awesome update. And I mean, I really see the name for the wild update. You get a bit of everything in it.
Yes, and I love the contrast. Yeah, as you can see in this pretty concept art, it's really like that beautiful nature and the super terrifying deep dark. And I love that contrast between these two things.
Huh.